as you know, among Sustainable Development Goals, 17 goals, this inequality is SDG 10 to reduce inequality within and among countries. So this inequality occurs when, like water resources or other resources in a given river basin or society are distributed unevenly, typically through norms of allocation that engender specific patterns along lines of socially defined categories of persons. It is also the differentiation preposition of excess of social, social like resources.
Equality and equity. Equality is the state of being equal. It involves treating everyone the same irrespective of their differences. It doesn't consider the needs and requirements of individuals. Equity, on the other hand, is the quality of being fair and impartial, and involves treating each individual according to his or her own needs. So for mine, it's really equity that we need to be talking about. How do we meet everybody's needs? And as we know, water is critical to everything we do. So inequitable access to water is reflected in inequities across all aspects of life. We should consider the difference between government and governance. It's the responsibility of our governments to ensure that there is good water governance in place. But it's not the responsibility of the government to undertake all the functions of water governance. Good water governance involves important roles right across society, roles for government, roles for industry, roles for science, roles for NGOs, roles for the general community, etc. And it's up to all of us to contribute to good water governance. And good water governance should facilitate this collaboration between scientific disciplines and between scientists, policymakers, and stakeholders. It doesn't matter what scale we're thinking about, individual households or communities or nations, for example. Decisions based on negotiations where there is a power imbalance are inherently unsustainable because they will unravel as that power balance changes. So investing in the capacity of all relevant stakeholders to contribute to the decision-making process on an equitable basis is a key to improving water governance and ultimately to achieving more sustainable outcomes.
As you know, in Asia Pacific area is a very wide and a big country, and also hydrological characteristics are not same, very different. So through the comparative study, through the AP Health or AP Friend, we could make a kind of a common, the solution, how to apply this the technique to adapt their countries. But it's not easy. As you know, Northeast Asia and the Southwest Asia and the Pacific area, we have a very different water characteristics. So in order to solve water problems or water inequalities, and we need more, active exchange and also data problems.
So just replicating something that had worked or not elsewhere and taking it to a new location, expecting good outcomes, was a folly. So that was a big learning, that we need to think through a northern lens in that case. For me, a lot of it is about the idea of being willing to share your knowledge and being willing to assimilate the knowledge of others and remain focused on the problem rather than focused on your discipline or the solution that worked before. It's stay focused on the problem, use all the expertise you can get from any source you can get it, and work together around that problem, which really brings me to the idea of sustainability science, which was one of the programs funded through the Japan Funds in Trust.
So in the future, I would like to emphasize on our cooperative activities through the UNESCO IHP or IHES in Asia Pacific with the Sustainable Development Goals and South-South cooperation first. And secondly, active implementation of IRRM with AP help in developing holistic sustainable solutions, and the development of IWS strategies with the help approaches for sustainable water management, because we need manpower, human being, with there no any influence by coronavirus. So how to keep this capacity building and also continuing to implement the IRRM in order to have a safer water security in the future. So also global adaptation coalition of the network of platform like a South-South cooperation or UNESCO IHP network or other sustainability network. So this is very required, needed activity in the future.
Today we have discussed water inequalities are a serious challenge for us, and it's not only the inequality from the point of view of SDG number 6. The social inequalities, like what Professor Lee discussed with the SDG number 10, very, very important. So if we have to deliver the Sustainable Development Goals, we must address water inequalities. Also, very importantly, it has been discussed today, the Regional Steering Committee mechanism supported by the Japan Fund interest in this region has been very instrumental in bringing forward research, forming those networks and associations which have produced many useful outputs. Those outputs, we will make them available through our sustainability insight, through our links. And that's where, very importantly, the program Hydrology for Environment, Life and Policy, integrated water resource management. There are several of those publications which are available and can be useful for this time. COVID has given us many, many challenges, and we need to carefully look into what are those challenges. And that's where Professor Camkin's idea that we need to look into the problems with the local lens. And Professor Lee has highlighted the issues in South Asia are not same as in North Asia or East Asia or in the Pacific. So we need to have the local lens to visualize those problems. The challenge remains, how do we move forward? How do we become more resilient? How do we provide water as a human right and sanitation as a human right? And that's where the observations at the global level are, while the investments are taking place into building back better post-COVID, water security, water equity, better water governance remains a challenge. We need to continue to build capacity. One of the recommendations is maybe we should invest 1% of the GDP into water-related services. And a very good estimate also is if we provide 29 cents per person per day for this period up to 2030, we can provide water security to everyone on planet Earth. But at the same time, we need to make sure that these investments which are being made are underpinned by the right kind of knowledge. And that's where Professor Lee has kindly offered his own journal and his expertise, and the World Water Policy Journal, very, very important journals. We can make them available in terms of their links to colleagues who want to participate in such efforts. So with that, I thank everyone today for their active contribution.